smooth. Here is an apple rough. And when I do my apple, by the way, I definitely look for those planes. It is not a perfect oval. Even when they are practically perfect, and sometimes they practically are, there are still planes, which even if they are not pronounced on the exterior, once you get to painting them, they are in there. Okay, on the smooth, no, even if you don't like this paper, I think, and I call it paper because it partly is paper. It's kind of fun because you probably will feel uninvested in it. You know, what the heck? It's something that's free. I just gave you. You can get it usually at the school shop, but I've got this in an order. And Pat, would you say you use? I can't remember this. The rough side, the cold press side more now?
I use the hot press.
That's right. The hot press side.
And it's interesting to me, even with your drawing, you can see the difference. The quality
with the pencil,
of the line.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, here's the rough. Here's the cold. Now, it does a lot of the things. Was that my Indian? Oh, that's cad yellow.
It's what kind of yellow?
That was cad yellow. Oh. Huh. And I am going to put some what should I do? I'm going to do a little Caroline Scarlet.
What does Caroline mean? Because there's Caroline green and Caroline purple.
I think it means that there's a it's some chemical. Yeah, well, not a chemical. I think it's more like a mineral.
Pigment.
Pigment. Yeah. So you do get some little mixing. I'm just going to do rough stuff first, so you. The grip. There's more of a grip here.
So it doesn't absorb.
It doesn't absorb, and I'll just show you something too. But it mixes. It flows.
It's like it has a sizing on it.
Yes.
So initially, you get a lot of beading, and then that kind of goes away.
And you could, if you
wash
use
it off to some extent.
yes, you can, and I'll show you that. You can wash it off to some extent now and later, but not forever. And if I wanted these highlights, you know, right now, I want some more stuff in here. Much more grip on this, so but you can get some wonderful. Let me float something in there.
Will it take longer to dry?
Yeah, it can be. It can be sitting there. Say if I left that like this.
And what color is that you just?
That was some carbazole violet.
Oh.
And I'm going to put a little.
The thing I like about it is you can get some of the same mixes that you get on Yupo or somewhat similar without some of the things that I found difficult working with Yupo, like, fingerprints.
Yeah.
You know, and
Here is Yupo.
And I mean, and I love Yupo. I think it's beautiful, but I find that I personally can get more precision on this than I can on Yupo because and I see people that get it on Yupo, and I admire that a lot because I don't seem to be able to do it.
Well, and I think Yupo, I think this is more painterly than Yupo, for me anyway. So Pat is the only one I know who really
I don't know
uses it.
anybody else that
Joan,
likes
Joan.
to do that.
And Joan, well, Joan uses Yupo,
Well, and hers is very painterly.
and is very painterly.
Yeah, yeah,
that-
Joan
that
can
is
do on
true.
UPO what I would really like to do
Yeah.
on UPO and can't.
Right. Yupo for me promotes my more, and it's a self that I like actually too, where I'm more likely to do things with the removals of whites, and that's I'm attracted to in the Yupo. You know, like doing this lettering or this removing. You know, you can. Here it is. This color has been here forever.
That's disturbing.
That's disturbing?
Yeah, because you can mess something up.
Yes,
It
You
gets
take your painting of a rain.
you
Yeah.
can do some. But this, I would be more likely to do stuff like, you know, drop something in like that and let it play. But I noticed that Joan doesn't, I mean, I haven't seen you taking to this, the multimedia before, the way you do to Yupo.
Today.
But you might love it today.
Is Yupo not mixed media both just as permanent once it's done and framed?
It is totally as permanent except for if you went into the rain or it was badly matted and framed and there was a lot of humidity, in which case you might have some true
But
problems.
that would be the same situation for any kind of 100% real
Yes, yeah.
paper anyway, so,
Seems
yeah.
like UPO doesn't look like that.
I think Yupo,
There's nothing out there. Nothing I think looks.
well, there is one of her multimedia behind you. See, I find this very much like painting on paper, regular paper.
Other thing is, they seem to have a quality control problem, and occasionally you just get a bad batch.
Oh dear.
And you'll put a, well, yeah.
And
That wasn't what I said, but that's.
Pat also uses very big sheets of it, you know, not what we're using right here.
But sometimes you'll get a batch and you'll put a drop of paint on it and it'll spread out and cover half the sheet. I have never quite, I have figured out a fix for that. It's just a bad batch.
So you're working wet on wet, whereas on other paper, that would have feathered and gone into what are those called, those explosion
Oh, like
things.
yeah.
But this is doing a form of it, but not as unappealing as it is sometimes on very absorbent,
Right.
soft paper.
Because it's very hard.
Yeah.
So you're going to get something, well, both predictable and not. I mean, I kind of like that now for the beginning, anyway. It's got character.
Very good.
Yeah,
And back to taking out, here I did these little olives in this jar on both. I can take out pretty much. Now, if I wanted that to be totally clean, I'll never get it clean, right?
probably not.
But
What I find is in the moment you can get back to white, depending on the pigment and the thickness of the paint
Yeah.
and all, you can, some stuff you can lift forever, but you don't get back to white
right,
forever.
I mean, here I could, you're going to get back to an effective, probably, light.
Yeah, you can.
You know, if I had a highlight there. I mean, if you use it in a sort of hard-edged way like this, with hard-edged objects, there's all sorts of things that you can get that might be very effective. That would be satisfactory to me, to get, if that's what I wanted for,
Take your paper towel and lift just a little bit.
on where. Okay, on this, I'll do it on the smooth, and I'll do, now that is kind of nice. There was something under there, including probably a greasy fingerprint, the color, and so you can get some nice effects. In a way, it's like an ultra hot press, and this is actually the rough side. This is the smooth side, but it is because it's so resistant. It's got this resin in it. It's very resistant, and you're going to get something special happening.
I think it keeps the colors more intense.
Yeah.
And I think part of that also is it's an unusual white. It's very, very white. So anything against it here is fine. You know, most papers, there are papers that are very white, but this is especially.
But I found like you do have to go over it more than once, otherwise
Yeah.
it'll just beat up or
Yeah. This is anthracite.
fear control.
But you can do stuff like this too. To me, it makes me, but I don't use it usually. It makes me think, okay, let me just see what happens if I.
Maybe you should use it.
And I had something underneath. That's kind of what you're talking about. When there's something underneath, as there was, then it gives it a little bit of a base, and it really adheres.
Or you can just put water on it. I usually don't, but I have.
Oh, just pre-wet it, yeah. So that's. And one thing that's nice, it doesn't really run as much as, you know, if you have something wet. It pretty much. See, that's very painterly.